Welcome to Karma's Harvest. Today, we witness a tale of a merchant who thought he could outsmart a man in darkness, only to find that greed creates a shadow from which no one can hide. In the bustling trade city of Oakhaven, gold was the only language spoken fluently. Among those who spoke it loudest was Silas, a merchant whose scales were as crooked as his morals. Silas prided himself on the invisible, tax, a few coins shaved here, a weight tempered there. He believed that in a world of predators, the honest were merely prey waiting to be skinned. One rainy evening, as the market fires began to dim, an elderly traveler stepped into Silas's shop. The man moved with a rhythmic tap-tap-tap of a wooden cane. His eyes were clouded with the milky haze of cataracts, fixed on a world Silas assumed he could no longer see or understand. "Merchant," the old man said, his voice like dry parchment, "I have traveled far to fulfill a vow. I have 3 pouches of pure stardust silk. I seek only enough gold to buy a small plot of land to rest my weary bones." Silas's eyes gleamed. Stardust silk was worth a king's ransom. He took the silk, feeling its impossible softness, and his mind immediately began to spin a web of deceit. He reached under his counter, pulling out a heavy purse. But it wasn't gold that clinked inside. It was raw, tarnished, copper ancient scrap he had intended to melt down for junk. "Here you are, old friend," Silas lied, his voice dripping with faux sympathy. "A heavy purse of the finest crown gold. More than enough for your land and a comfortable life thereafter." The blind traveler ran his fingers over the coins. He felt the cold, hard ridges. A small, knowing smile tugged at the corner of his lips. "You are certain this is what I deserve, merchant. By the sun and the stars, it is exactly what you have earned," Silas replied, suppressing a chuckle. The old man nodded, tucked the purse into his cloak, and vanished into the fog. Silas retreated to his back room, cackling as he ran the silk through his fingers. But as the hours passed, the air in the shop grew heavy. A metallic copper scent began to permeate the walls. Thick and copper-tasting on the tongue, what Silas didn't know was that the copper he had given away was not mere scrap. It was the lure of the hallowed, a cursed relic forged by ancient thieves to attract their own kind. It didn't just shine, it whispered. It called out to every desperate heart, every cut purse and every murderer within 100 miles. By midnight, the scratching began. Not from mice, but from fingernails against the floorboards. Silas looked out his window and saw dozens of shadows, silent, hooded, figures standing in his garden. They weren't looking for him. They were looking for the source. Because Silas had blessed the transaction with a lie, the curse had tethered itself not to the traveler who carried the bag, but to the shop where the deceit was born. The old man had walked away in peace. But the weight of the copper remained in Silas's soul, and the thieves of the kingdom were coming to collect. By dawn, the shop was a hollow shell. Silas sat amidst the ruins of his greed, realizing too late that while he thought he was cheating a blind man, he was the one who couldn't see the harvest he was planting. Remember, in the fields of life, the seeds of deception always grow the sharpest thorns. Thank you for watching Karma's Harvest.